Hello. In this tutorial, we're going to expand on what we did in the last and develop a new console application which focuses on the basic input-output within a C# console application. So here I am inside of Mono again. I've got a C# console application. I'm going to call it CSE 130102 because it's our second solution. I'll click OK there. And sure, I'll say save, closing down what we had previously done, and you'll see that we're back here in main.cs with our console write line hello world. So clearly this is how we display stuff to the screen. This console write line is going to put something onto the screen. But the next question is, how do we actually get something from the user? So in order to do that, what I'd like to do is create a project here that is going to ask the user for their name. So we can say, please enter your name. And if I wanted to leave the cursor on that active line without going to the next one, I can change this to console write. So there's a difference between console write and console write line. And console write is going to leave that cursor right there. Now the next thing I need to do is create a variable that's going to store whatever the user types in. And I'm going to use a very, very simple variable called name. And then it is of type string because that's what the user is going to type in. So it's a string of characters, you can think of it that way. And then into the variable name, I'd like to assign, so we've got this equals sign that is the assignment operator, and I want to assign into that variable whatever the user types in. So we'll do a console read line, and we're going to read a line of characters from the user and place it into this variable name. To prove that this works, so let's do a console write line here, and we'll say hello, and then add to that name. So it's going to print out the string hello, comma, and then whatever the user typed in for their name. So let's run this. And you can see here's our prompt, please enter your name. And I'm going to type my name, and I'll hit enter, and you see that we get back hello John. Okay, so back in here in Mono, we can do more than just read in name strings. We can read in integers or floating point values, any variable type that we have access to. So let's ask the user how old they are. In order to do that, I'm going to create a new variable called age, and into this it's going to store an integer, so a whole number if you will. And so I'm going to use this integer age variable to store whatever the user types in here. So let's prompt the user again. So we'll say, how old are you? And then we can say into age, I want to place whatever the user types in. But you'll notice we have an error here because the console read line is returning a string, but we're trying to place that into a variable that's designed to store an integer. So I need to parse that. I need to convert from a string into an integer, and I can use this int32.parse, and it takes in a string and it returns to me an integer. Console write line, you are the age years old. So it's going to take in whatever the user types in. Let's say they typed in 27, and then it'll return you are 27 years old. So let's give that a shot and see what it looks like. So here's our enter your name, and we say how old are you? We'll say 27, and then it's going to give us back you are 27 years old. Okay, great. So that's the basics of reading in from the user using console read line, and also reading in an integer int32.parse on that console read line and displaying things back to the user.